Alrighty, welcome back to Over the Pond, episode number 5, I think, maybe? Is this episode number 5? 5 or 6?
I thought this was 6. Again, we've missed another week, and it was my fault again. I'm sorry, everybody. I was ill. I almost died. I actually thought I was dying. I'm not going to lie to you. I had like a thing in my, I still don't actually know what happened. Like my eye just wasn't working pretty much. My right eye, if I moved it, it just hurt. It was in pain and I'm not really sure what it was. And obviously like when you get that fear, when you like feel your eyes hurting, when you just look to the right or the left, you kind of feel like, oh, I've got a brain tumor. I'm going to die. But I had like an eye scan and I'm all good apparently.
Were you like sick? Like did you have a fever? Like,
well, this is the thing. I didn't at first. So my eye was hurting. And then the next day I actually developed a fever, which was on my birthday, which was amazing. But
sucks,
I was like sweating out and like the night going into my birthday, I sweat out so much when I was in bed. And I felt a bit better in the morning from it. But like I didn't realize that I was ill. It was like all over the span of like 48 hours. The eye hurt for about 4 days, I'd say. But the main pain of it was like in a 2-day period. And for some reason, I was just hit by this bug. And my body just like fought it for like 2 days. And then it was gone. I don't know what it was. But it was actually like pretty rough, to be honest with you.
Dude,
I'm pretty unlucky.
This is... Welcome to the podcast where we're going to talk about our illnesses. But whenever I talk about being sick, I have to bring up this sickness I had once. It was called norovirus, right? And so it's actually going around right now again.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
It was literally the worst pain. I was like genuinely in the middle of it, like just kill me. Just
really?
I don't. It was terrible because it was basically like every hour I would just like throw up, right? But it was like there was nothing in my stomach, right? And so it was just painful. And you would go, do your thing in the bathroom that had to happen. I don't want to get demonetized.
Do you want to give us details?
Yeah, no, you'd go in the bed, then I'd feel a little bit better for like 20 minutes, but then it would just like it was the nausea was the worst part. And then I would be like laying in bed, just sweating. It was like, and then every joint in my body was painful. Like I could feel every joint moving whenever I would move. Thankfully, norovirus is very known for only lasting like a day. It's like one really, really horrible day. And then the next day, you feel weak and stuff, but you're able to move around and actually eat. But for like, it's usually like 12 to 24 hours, you feel like death. So I hope I never have to deal with that again. But
when I was a kid, like 13 years old, I actually had this thing of where I like just couldn't stop throwing up. Like anything I ate, it just made me throw up to the point of where I had to go to the doctors and they gave me an injection. And I still to this day don't really know what it was, but it does actually sound like that. But they gave me an injection that would supposedly stop me from being sick or stop me from throwing up at least. And I don't know like what the injection was. It sounds pretty similar, but I don't think there's like a Nova virus vaccine or anything like that.
Yeah, no. It's from what I understand with it, it's like it's pretty common, but it's very like you get it and then you get over it relatively quickly. And so I definitely never something I hope I never get it again. Probably won't be the case, but horrible. not enjoyable at all. But I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yeah. My eye is okay, but other than the fact that I have to wear glasses for the rest of my life, but it's all right, I guess.
You'll be all right,
Yeah, I've actually thought about laser eye surgery, but I kind of get like scared that like my eyes would just like, because there's like horror stories about laser eye surgery.
It's like, oh, they messed up. Oh, and now you're blind forever.
Yeah, it's fucking, and like, I don't know. It's crazy. Like, imagine like being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get 20/20 vision, and they go, well, you realize it from the fucking get go, but they wouldn't even give you the results. You just imagine you just take off the stuff around your eye, and suddenly it's just black,
dude.
And like, that's like the worst nightmare. I feel like, no offense if we've got any blind listeners, but I feel like being blind is honestly my biggest fear. Like the idea of not being able to see. I don't know what's like worse. Like I don't know if this is like an ethical conversation, but like being blind or being deaf. But some people have both, and that shit is like that is terrifying.
Yeah,
like, the idea
of
that.
Like the way that I try to like rationalize it, right, is if someone is born without like the sense of sight or whatever, right? Yeah. They don't know any other way, right? And so it's like I would assume that they probably don't think of it as like, I am less than, or I have this disability and like I'm missing this thing, right? Because they never had, it was never something they had, right?
Yeah,
Versus I can't imagine what it would be like having sight and then losing it. I don't know. Yeah. Like, again, I'm not trying to be like,
I feel like after a while,
to this, no, you know, but
I get what you mean, but we are just mere humble human beings who are curious,
postulating.
And I think there is like a natural thing to be curious about the fact of, you know, one day the thing that you see through may no longer be there. Mm-hmm. And I think, honestly, if there's anyone that has experience of that in the chat, like if we do have any blind or deaf viewers, like comment down your experiences below, because like there probably is like a stigma. I mean, obviously, like, you know, like it's nobody wants to lose their sight and vision. Obviously, like that, I don't think that's a hot take, but I am like I feel like there probably is a stigma over the fact that people believe that all deaf and blind people are sad 24/7. When the reality is they probably, you know, they get used to it, and some people, as you said, may just be born deaf blind or born blind or deaf, and that's just their average well-being, and that's how they go about life. And I'm curious to know like how that is genuinely. I don't know if that's controversial. Given how the internet is, I'm sure that somebody's gonna get
I feel the same way, and I always get like uncomfortable talking about it. But the way I see it is like my girlfriend works at a home with people that have had TBIs or traumatic brain injuries, right? And she tells me that she'll get frustrated because sometimes there'll be like a nurse that's like coming in from outside of the house, because she works, it's like a house of people that have like that live there, and then she just shows up and helps, right, basically. And she gets frustrated when people will basically talk to them like they're babies or like really baby them, and she's like, this man is 60 years old, like you don't need to talk to him like that, right? And so I'm assuming it's the same thing where it's like, I think a lot of times people want to almost coddle someone, and with them trying to be like gentle, they're actually end up more patronizing the person than just treating them like a normal human, you know?
And this is attributed to not just deaf and blind people. This is something that I've noticed on YouTube actually in particular. It was actually going to be something that I wanted to speak about, where people who are autistic like get coddled really badly, and I see autistic people being like, yo, what are you doing? Like there's like, so if an autistic person and the one that I'm referring to here is World of T-Shirts does something bad, right? That's that TikToker, you know, the New York guy who was like he's done a lot of like crazy things. His recent thing that I saw was like he scammed his audience in a crypto. Well, it seems that he scammed his audience in this crypto shenanigans. And there are like certain nuances you need to take. You know, yes, he is a highly autistic person, but at the same time, that doesn't just mean he's excused of all the terrible things that he's doing, and we shouldn't coddle him just because he's autistic. And I think it's like frustrating for a lot of people out there who are autistic that there is like people on the internet being like, no, they don't understand what they're doing. They've what the bad things they've done, it just doesn't matter whatsoever. But it's like, no, hold on. There needs to be some nuanced conversation. And I don't think in a lot of cases that we should be coddling these people, because yes, they are autistic. And yes, that means that coming into conversations surrounding a certain topic does require perhaps an altered perspective, but it doesn't then mean that you have to treat them like a fucking baby.
Yeah.
And the same, as you said, can be for old people, of where, you see like a care worker sometimes speaking to an old person like they're a child. Now, maybe it's a bit different when, I don't know, they have severe like a case of Alzheimer's or something like that. But I've seen old people who are fully functioning, fully like coherent, and they've been spoken to like a child in their care home. And it's like, I've never understood that. So it's also interesting to hear the fact that other people get frustrated by that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely interesting how just like people will play the cards like. I know we already talked about this, but I'm just like, when you said, oh, he's autistic, I was like, oh, like Elon Musk?
No, but legit, bro. Like,
I was just like, wait, I thought he was the smartest man in the world. And he like, again, I know that you can be smart and autistic, I get it. But it's like, you know, everyone used to say, oh, he's the smartest. Like, he's like above human. And then he does this and they're like, he doesn't understand what he's doing. And I'm like, what?
What? And the thing is, it's the same people that he's like, this guy's a fucking genius. This guy knows everything. He's like, he invented rockets and going to space, man. But Oh, sorry. That
he doesn't
thing
know not to do the one thing that pretty much everyone knows not to do on the stage.
I'm afraid to say it's his autistic stim. That's sorry. With him sticking his arm out in that position, it doesn't mean anything. I'm sorry. All the jokes on Twitter he's made about being a fascist and stuff. Autism?
Do you stim at all?
The fuck?
Like,
what?
Do you stim?
Do I stim? I thought you said stiminal. I was like,
no. Do you stim at all?
See, I feel like a bad thing that I do is like I have the word stim in my vocabulary just because of a friend of mine. Like I will be like, oh yeah, I've proper stimmed today, and that's just like if I'm like playing a game for like 9 hours in a day, like a game that I've discovered, and I just like go into full hyper focus mode, I'll be like, yeah, I've stimmed. But like in terms of like an actual stim, I don't think that I do.
I definitely do. 100%. And I never this is like something that is so personal. I don't know why I decided to bring this up, but it's like, I never realized how, one, much I do it, and two, how much I do it trying to hide it. Because now that I live with my girlfriend, we are together all the time, right? And so she'll notice it, and she'll like not make fun of me, but she'll be like, "You're over there stimming," and I'm like, "Stop! I didn't think you could see me," right? Because I'll do this like, especially it's like right when I wake up, like when I walk to the bathroom, right? Because I take a shower right when I wake up. Some people don't do that, but like I always like do this with my hand, and I'll be like this. Like I don't know why. Like I'll just like shake my hand like this, and then I'll be
you just stick it out and just
I just stick it out and do that. And then another thing,
I'm not laughing. That's
it's weird. I don't know why I do it, and I don't even think about it, right? But then another thing that I'll do, this one's even more embarrassing. I don't know why I'm sharing this, dude. Whatever, brother.
You don't have to. You don't have to. You don't want to.
No, it's not that bad. I'll be like,
I'll only bully you. I'm joking.
Dude, I'll be like,
go on.
I'll be like,
are you sure that you don't have like fucking Tourette's or something?
Dude,
that sounds like Tourette's.
I don't think so. I think I guess like, because I know for a fact I have ADHD, and apparently there are a lot of similarities between ADHD and autism. And I mean, who knows? Maybe I'm slightly on the spectrum. I don't fully know. I was never diagnosed, so I don't like to say that. But like, I do that every day and like frequently. Like, I'll do it in the gym. Not the noise, but like I'll walk around and do this, but that it's like less because like I'll be like in between sets and I'm like doing like lifting really heavy. And so I'll be like walking around the bench, just kind of like shaking, and I'll air drum a lot too.
Could it be like a nerves anxiety thing? Because I know a lot of people out there kind of like have a stim or tick, whatever you want to call it, of where like they get anxious and they do certain things. Like, and this is like a lot of TikTokers out there have been like, I've got Tourette's, and it's like, firstly, you should probably go to a doctor about that. But secondly, you may not have Tourette's. Like, it's very easy to diagnose yourself with anything. And like, I have the personal belief that if you can't get a diagnosis for this thing you think you have and it's causing you strife in your life, I actually think it's all right to self-diagnose and just deal with those symptoms in your own personal way. But some people obviously go a bit overboard on social media where they'll be like, if you can't look someone in the eyes for longer than 30 seconds, dude, you are fucking autistic. It's like, dude, I don't know about that.
Or like, I just like, because I'll follow, or I don't really follow any of them, but I'll you know how the algorithm is. I'll see a lot of posts about people that have ADHD, and they're like, the ADHD thing that you do when, and like, it's like you forget to close a drawer. And I'm like, okay, obviously I'm sure people that have ADHD do that, but that's a normal thing. I feel like it's not that ADHD strange.
Moment when you,
like,
it's like the ADHD moment of when you worry that you've left on the oven or something. It's like everyone does that. Like I have we both have a diagnosis for ADHD. It's like my ADHD issues. I mean, to be honest with you, I think like it's like a case of that does actually come into it, to be fair. But like, I think ADHD is like a much broader thing in terms of like, it is attributed to like everything in your life. Like,
it's literally, dude, Yeah.
It affects, like, it's actually kind of deep when you think about it. Like, it is actually, like, and I think that's why I get a bit frustrated with the conversation about ADHD, because, like, I would give anything to not have ADHD, because then my life would be so much easier. I, like, the idea of being able to have, like, a clear mind and to just focus
to like do something that you don't really want to do, but you can push through. You know how fucking hard that is for me to do? Literally, it's either I am so hyper focused on it, I can't think of anything else, and that's all I want to do, or the thought of doing it is going to give me a panic attack, and I would rather jump off a bridge. Like, it's
no, legit.
That's it.
But there's also, like, the frustrating things where my most personal frustrating ones are where it actually comes into my hobbies, right? In particular with, like, gaming, where, like, I'll play a game, but then in my mind, it's like, you should be playing this one instead. Like, you shouldn't be playing this one. You should be doing that. You should be doing this. And, like, and if I, like, go on, like, holiday, or tomorrow I'm getting on the train, right, to go to Manchester, which is, like, a 2-hour journey. In my mind, it's like, do I bring my DS? Do I bring my Switch? Do I bring my Steam Deck? And I'm like, just fucking bring them all, and then just bring my laptop as well. And it's like, it sounds weird because it sounds like just regular human choice, but, like, I know the difference in my mind. Like, I know what's going on there, and it's so dumb because I probably won't even use any of them. I'll probably just fall asleep on the train.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm always, like, stressing about things in the future because of it. Like, not a case of, like, again, there is a difference between general worries of a deadline and then worries of which come from ADHD. And, like, I think that's the frustrating thing of not knowing when something is a symptom. So to revert all the way back to your thing about your, like, stims and stuff, I think the things with that is, like, the issue is just, like, it's hard to work out, is this just a nerves thing? Is this an anxiety thing? Is this a Tourette's or autism thing? It's there's so many things.
Yeah.
I don't know which one it is.
Like, genuinely, for the longest time, I was like, no, everyone does this. Like, this, because it was so, I've done it my entire, like, you know how there's those things that you're like, this is a thing that people don't really talk about, but everyone does it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to incriminate myself anymore, but I'm sure people can think of, like, you know, things that are normal human things that no one really talks about because either they're slightly embarrassing or whatever. But it's like, clearly everyone does this. It was that for me. I'm like, no, everyone does, like, little weird, like, shaky things and weird vocal stems. I was like, but I don't think everyone does do it.
I do think that like, everyone does have, like, a few weird things that they do that they don't want to talk about. Like, I can't actually think of one on the spot for me.
Whatever, dude. I
see
how you're like, I'm really normal and not fucking weird like you.
Yeah, you're fucking you got special problems, my friend. No, I'm trying to think. What do I do that's weird? I mean, I have, like, full-on, like, this isn't weird. I think everyone does this. I have, like, full-on conversations with my dog. Like, I actually just, like, talk to him. But that's normal, I think. What else do I do? I don't know. I think I'm relatively, you're fucked up, man.
It's fair. All right. Well, it was good seeing you guys. I'm gonna go cry in the corner.
I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this anymore. I need to find another co-host.
No, but I just I thought that was interesting. But I'm sorry when you brought up the autism, I had to bring up Elon. I apologize. And we talked about that enough last podcast, I think, you know.
Yeah,
but that's a never ending. That could be never ending conversation, dude. It's been nonstop, but.
Yeah, we got, like, pretty good reception. I was, like, worried we were going to get, like, crazy Republicans. I'm so glad that our audience aren't, like, severe. Are we allowed to say brain dead anymore? Because that's another thing that I got called out.
I don't know. I have no idea. It seems to be okay. I don't know.
I think it's just like a vocabulary, a word for my vocabulary that I've used since I was a kid. But I'm gonna just say it. I'm glad that my audience isn't brain dead to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Because it's nice to see that people. I'm not even, like, being like, oh, you must be a Democrat or I won't like you. But it's like, I'm glad that we have people willing to have a nuanced listen and conversation. You know what I mean? But shit's not nuanced anymore. There's no what's going on in your country,
dude.
Again, it's. I said before we got on call, I was like, I feel like every time we get on call, I'm like, America's it's done it again. It's done it again. But it's like, oh god, you guys are just not you guys, but.
No, it's been really interesting, man, because, like, obviously we've been through 4 years of this already before in the past. But this time it feels more dangerous, and it feels like there is more vitriol and anger behind a lot of the decisions.
I actually have the reason for this.
Okay, perfect.
I'm not even joking. This is where we're going to go like a little bit political, but when Trump came in 2016, I said to you before, I don't know why it feels different, but I actually realized I do, because I was listening to a political podcast the other day, and they were talking about why Trump seems to be instantaneously doing a lot of terrible things, like immediately. Like in 2016, when he took over, there was a lot of I think there was a lot of fear, and rightly so.
I literally thought it was funny. Like I remember being like, "That is ridiculous." Like real, but again, I didn't know much about. Like I didn't really care and follow it, so I didn't realize what.
I think the average. I think a lot of an average white middle class dudes would be like that is crazy, but it's also like it didn't feel like it changed anything. But now I feel like everyone is affected. Yeah. But there are reasons for that, and I think the main one is in 2016 when Trump took over, he had an administration which had a lot of what was quote unquote rhinos in it, like old fashioned Republicans who have been in the party for a very, very long time.
I mean, his vice president.
Exactly, Pence. And he picks a lot of people who were very traditional Republicans. And it was very weird because Trump, he ran that campaign on MAGA, build the wall, and most importantly, drain the swamp. He said that he was going to drain the American swamp of all of the traditional politicians in every sense. Like the Democrat, to its core, Democratic Party, to its core, and also to its major flaws nowadays, has so many career politicians that have been around for 50 years. Like Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, they have no affiliation with running for the future presidency or recent presidency, but they're still an incredibly powerful family just because they were the president, just because one of them was the president 20 years ago. The Obamas are powerful now because then there seems like the newer family, the Bushes, they've been around for so long. They have a dynasty there.
The memes about George W. Bush were so good, dude. They're so funny, his little eyebrows.
Just to see them all sat together at the inauguration was fucking so weird. But sorry, let me get to these people were all in but they've all been in politics for a very long time. And Trump in 2016, I think he played it safe by picking a lot of people, or at least he was advised to pick a lot of people to help navigate his presidency, because he was coming into it not really knowing really how to be a president, and he doesn't still really know how to be a president now. But in 2025, with how different things are in comparison to 2016. We're in a whole different world post-COVID, and just in general, the political spectrum is just so different. Politicians are now embracing social media, and with that, Trump has now picked an administration of people that aren't career politicians for the most part. There are still some remaining, but I actually have seen that there are a lot of Republicans that don't like Trump. I mean, his VP in 2016 literally said that he is a certain German man from 1945. But the Republican Party have just kind of they see that he's their only man. He's the only way they... Yeah. And Republicans, when they win presidencies, never really win the popular vote. I think the last one that did was Reagan, I think. I may be wrong by that. And that illustrates how powerful of a person Trump is. He is the only man that could do that for the Republican Party. To do what he did in the last election was pretty extraordinary. Not extraordinary in a good sense, but just extraordinary in the sense of, wow, that's not happened in a long time. And now he's done it. He's done that. He almost has this right to, I'm going to put in anyone I want, unelected, people that aren't even politicians like Elon Musk, which is why things are so different, because you've got people that aren't politicians that don't play the political game. They don't have any skin in the game. So they are going to do these rash and insane things and almost encourage Trump to do the insane things that he wanted to do previously. Whereas in 2016, he had his traditional Republican politicians being probably don't do that. Probably don't invade this country. Probably don't do that. And, well, maybe the invade one isn't right, but, they would stop him from doing a lot of rash things. But now he's in a place of where he can just do whatever he wants. He just got on television and said that he's going to take over Gaza. Yeah. Even when we invaded Iraq, we didn't say we were going to take over Iraq. We said we were going there to fight terror. They're not even hiding it now. Yeah. It's just, we're going there to take over these places. And that is, again, sorry, this is really long-winded, but we've got here because Trump is at this point of where he is almost a completely... He's arguably the most untouchable politician in the world just because he's so popular.
Oh, yeah. I'd say 100%. I think he's the most, like, untouchable as far as, like, you can, go to impeach him because there's already someone trying to impeach him. But, I mean, he's already been impeached and then he became president again. It's like, what's the point anymore?
Yeah, it is what... When I go on Twitter and, like, I see, like, an account being like... some judge from Minnesota, this is just taken off the top of my head, some judge from Minnesota has blocked this action that Trump has done. It's like, he's still gonna fucking do it. Like, he's not gonna listen to these people.
What's scary, one thing I did want to say, I do think that he actually didn't win the popular vote at the start. I could be wrong, but I think my girlfriend with me were talking about this. She said, like, at the start, before all the mail-in ballots were cast, I think he was ahead by a little bit. But then once all of the, like, ballots were cast and everything was counted, I guess he still didn't even win, like, numbers-wise. You probably
did he
look
not?
it up. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think like it was.
I
think at the start it seemed like he was going to, and then I think over time.
No. I think Trump has won the...
Oh, did he? Oh, okay.
Hold on. Let me see. Let me double check this. U.S. election 2024. You may be right. I may be wrong. Okay, here we go. No, Trump won it by 2.3 million votes.
Okay, never mind then.
I think there was a belief that Kamala was just going to edge it because of California, but I think that, he got 49.8% and she got 48.3%. And by the way, this isn't turning into a political podcast. I should just say, firstly, I've come here today with absolutely no preparation. I've been so all over the place the last 2 weeks. But also, I just want to talk about it because, like, there's no other... I don't really talk about this anywhere else.
Yeah,
it's not like... it's like things are on our minds. We're still going to talk about other stuff, but
it's been... so... With that, so I guess I was wrong about that, but I recently started watching Handmaid's Tale with Amanda, my girlfriend. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't. Dude, I've heard about it. That's good.
Dude, it is crazy, the parallels. Because, like, so I was hoping you'd seen it because you like, if you'd seen it, it would be like immediately how similar what is going on now in the U.S. versus, because I don't want to spoil the show. I think, like, if you haven't watched it, you should check it out. It's really good. Anyone else listening, I'm sure there's people that'll be in the comments like, oh, you know what I mean? But, like, a big premise of the show is basically a government kind of seizing control of the people and then telling them to do certain things, right? And and like a couple of, like, because I just started in some of the first episodes, it's like they do flashbacks of, like, how it was in the past and how it's just like little thing after little thing after little thing that builds and builds and builds, and then, oh, I don't have any rights anymore, and now I'm basically like a slave.
Is it set in America?
Yeah, it's set in America. I think, like, in the future, not by much, but, like, it's bizarre, man. It makes me uncomfortable watching it because this book, it was based on a book that was written in, like, the 80s, dude.
Oh, shit.
And, like, it's crazy how, like, again, obviously we're not at the level of what it is in the show, but, like, again, they'll do flashbacks and it's like, bro, I swear that just happened today. Like, oh, the Department of Education is no longer funded. It's like, oh, bro, God.
What? Like, sorry. This is one thing that I saw and I haven't looked into. Can you explain to me what that is? Like, is that, like, a thing where the Department of Education have, like, problems? Because we have an education secretary.
I think a big part of it is, like, Trump and, like, a lot of the people in his cabinet or just his circle, right? A lot of what they based their whole thing on is the establishment is, being run by a cabal, and it's all, it's built to ruin civilization, and everyone that's a part of the establishment has been told to be, like, these evil people that are trying to take away, the foundation of our country. And so no one can be trusted. So that was like such a part of the fabric of everything, right? It still is. I'm sure you've heard stuff like that, right? And so because of that, it's so easy to be like, oh, we don't really need a reason to get rid of this thing or stop it. It's part of the establishment. And clearly it's, they're teaching the kids about pronouns and it's like, so we need to stop it all. We need to just,
One thing that I've really realized over the last 10 years is how fucking stupid so many people are. I'm not even gonna lie, bro. Like, when I hear the moment people start to argue against the education of anyone, there's an issue, because that is when I know people hate to hear it. People are like, "Oh, you're going over the top," but when education gets rejected in any form of history, that is a direct correlation into the lead of fascism. In every single part of history where they have rejected education, philosophers, scientists, people that teach, it is always going into a trajectory of fascism. Because if you have an uneducated population, it leads to so many issues. But not just the issue of oh, I'm stupid and now I want to vote for the right-wing crazy man. It's also a fact of, if you're uneducated, you're not going to be qualified for a lot of future jobs in the future, and there will be a possible economic crisis of where there are not enough people to fill certain roles, or certain people just can't work certain jobs. And in general, a lack of education leads to a lack of understanding, and it leads to a lack of progression in society. And when you have all of these things kind of linking up, things crash down and go terrible. And when things go terrible, people blame a group of people in every single instance. In the early 2010s, the people that we blamed in the UK were Polish people. A lot of people here villainized Polish people, and that led to us leaving the EU. And then obviously in the 1940s, when Germany was going through such a crisis, the immediate point was they're going to blame the Jews. And that's now happening again. People do that now. And but not just with Jewish people, there's also a blaming of a lot of other ethnic groups out there. And I keep seeing a lot of insane parallels to 80 years ago, even with certain things like economic policy of how austerity politics. Austerity is everywhere, right? In the US and in the UK and in Europe. It's I didn't realize until I watched a video by a guy called Jimmy the Giant. Austerity is a philosophy that was created to deal with the German economic crisis before World War II. When they were in their Great Depression, they created austerity. So to see, and then that led to the right, a lot of people getting into obviously terrible positions, because austerity only leads to people being in such terrible financial positions. Therefore, their quality of life in general massively decreases, and that leads to fascism. So you kind of correlate all these things into each other of, defunding education, the lack of quality of life, austerity, and it all leads into a populist gets voted in, terrible things happen. And people can say it's an overreaction, but the president of the United States of America just said, word for word, after, by the way, running a campaign on we're the president of peace, something like that, of where he doesn't want to start any wars. It's there's no war to be fought. Let's be real here. He's funded a complete annihilation of a place on the earth, and now he's being we're just going to take it. That is crazy. And every other country in the world, even Russia, I believe, came out and condemned it, which is fucking hilariously ironic. Sorry to get too political here, but it's that is actually kind of worrying. It's hard to avoid where we are now in a position of where I feel this is the most worrying things have ever been. That's after we had 9/11, and you feel it couldn't get worse than that. But I genuinely feel we are on a trajectory where things are getting worse and worse. It's not even just with the US, what's going on in Ukraine. That is still happening. And I remember in 2022 when that happened, we were oh my God, this is the worst it can possibly get. But it's that still exists. And then there's 50 other things. It's pretty insane where the state of the world is. And sometimes I do genuinely, when I go to make a video, I shouldn't, because things are bad in the world, you shouldn't not focus on your interests. Don't feel bad about enjoying television, video games, making YouTube videos. But sometimes it is I don't know about you, but I get a thought of man, is this does this even matter? But obviously it does, but
No, yeah, I was just about to say it's interesting because it's if I think about it too much, it's just a bummer, right? And so it's you want to not, but it's one of those things where it's I don't know, it feels like anxiety almost, where it's I'll be normal, and then all of a sudden it'll pop in my head, and I'm oh yeah, that's happening right now. Damn. And then like you like sit with it, and then you're like, well, I'm gonna move on, like, because you have to. You can't just like wallow in it. At least I try not to, you know.
Yeah, like 100%. And like, I don't know, like even like. I try my best to not think like it, but even with like the recent like H3 drama, I think I don't really know much about it, but like even seeing that, like at the crux of it, the issue like all stems down from this like fucking horrific thing that's happening in Gaza, and it all stems from that, and it's like I just think it's like sad that like it's erupted into that when there is like a real human issue happening there. And like I'm not saying like, because I know that was like a point of like you can't just like deflect certain things, and I'm not doing that, but I'm just more being like, it's sad that like there are that's like gone into like into like YouTube drama and stuff like that, and so like, and it's I don't know if I'm making any sense right now, but it's like almost like sometimes you just feel like, what's the point of this, like you know what I mean? But like as you said, you can't do that because then you do just become a doomer, and you have to enjoy life whilst like you got to enjoy the best of things. Like I'm sure even in the 1940s, like an average soldier would try to enjoy their day as much as they can. I'm not saying we're like fucking soldiers in the 1940s, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's definitely been an interesting time to be alive, and I'm curious like what it will look like once we're over this hump, you know, and like how much damage can be done. And I try to just be like, you know, like we're strong, and like we've been through some pretty terrible things, but at the same time, it's like I don't want to lean on that too much and then be like, it'll be fine. It's not a big deal. Not something to worry about, because obviously it is, right? And it's like trying to find that balance of like, yes, I know that we are strong. You know, we've been through worse. Oh, I don't know. I mean, maybe worse tech. Like I think
the world.
And like, and so it's like, you know, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, but don't lose focus of that and like continue striving and fighting for what's right. That's kind of where I'm like, it's like this balancing act, I guess.
Absolutely, yeah. And people will like, obviously it's easy for us to say, I understand that, like there's people out there that, you know, they can't deal with things in the way we are, but at the same time I do think that like even people in horrible positions try their best to find a shining light in a terrible day, you know, like that. And I think that's like the goal, like is to try and find things that bring you entertainment and bring you enjoyment. And like that's why I make my videos, because they bring enjoyment, and obviously they pay the bills, but like, you know, I think it's just important to try and be happy.
Yeah. And speaking of trying to be happy, have you been keeping up with Amberlynn Reid?
Bro, I'm glad you brought this up, because this can be because I want to make another video, because like I was going to make a video in general, but I've seen like, I saw your stream yesterday and I've been seeing other videos about it. I think Mika's Rhetoric made a video about it. And I'm like, I've stayed deliberately away from it just so you can tell me about it.
Dude,
so tell me, what's happened?
Oh my God, man. It's like nothing, but also so much. You know what I mean? Like it's the best way that I can explain it.
I saw the world's greatest love stories come to an end.
Dude, okay, so that's kind of the main, you know, that's the main thing that has kind of happened, is that, you know, she was with her ex now, I guess, Tommy / I forgot what the other name was. I would just say Tommy.
Yeah. Is it like an official breakup? Because I know they broke up before when all the
that one was
happening.
I felt like that one was a fake one anyways, but this one feels,
oh no, that 100% was.
Yeah. This one feels real, but again, I mean, maybe we're getting played, but I'd be surprised if it was. I'm not saying that it's like officially all forever over, but at least at this current time, right? It definitely has ended, and it's been interesting because with Amberlynn, and then there is a question I have at the end of this. This is the one that I told you about before, but that you didn't know. And so I think with Amberlynn, it's interesting because she will always push off the blame as to why this person ended things or why this ended the way that it did, right? And with this, it's kind of been pushed, like she's basically framing it as it's your guys' fault. that we broke up, right? It's like and then on top of that, she also has like stopped and started a bunch of diets, right?
Of
and
course
like,
she has. It's like that's like her like everyone has hobbies, and Amberlynn Reid's hobby is to just start a new diet. I feel like she's got like I have a researcher, and every week they send me like 5 video ideas that I can look into that week. And I feel like Amberlynn has a researcher, but it's just like 5 new diet fads that she can start.
Yeah, dude. I mean, so it's like she got on a GLP-1 medication, like an Ozempic type drug, right? And she basically hasn't really lost any weight on it. Right. And so in the most recent stuff that I was like reacting to in that live stream, so the video that we watched was because she like uploads her videos later. And so she'll record them and then have like a stockpile for a couple weeks, right? Or like a week or something. So it's like there's like a disconnect of when things happen versus when a video will come out about it. So she just released her video of them breaking up, but they've been broken up for over a week, right? I don't know what. I know way too much about this. It's so
bro, I'm so glad because like I don't need to pay my researchers to do any research.
Yeah,
I've got you right here.
What? And so the video just came out, but dude, so obviously it sucks to get broken up with, but the entire video is just basically blaming everyone else. And then on top of it, dude, oh my God, I was reacting to this live. I hadn't watched the video yet. Yeah. And I think it was so I reacted to 2. I reacted to part of 1. So it was in one of those videos. But there was a moment that was so unbelievably funny. So she is like in doing this Q&A for her Instagram, and someone writes like, "You're lying about your weight. You weigh 270 or 571." Right? And she's like, "I don't know why this person is so obsessed about weight. I don't weigh 571." And she's like, "I weigh like 503 this morning." Right? And she's like, "You know what? I'm going to weigh myself right now." Right?
Oh no.
Dude. She
is it like 512?
Dude, she takes her phone into the bathroom, and
is she actually on a live stream while doing this?
No, it's not a live stream, but it's like an Instagram story. And she's like, the whole time she's like, you don't know how much I weigh. I just weigh myself, but I've eaten 3 times today, and I'm wearing all my clothes right now, and so it's probably gonna be a little bit heavier, but it's still nowhere close to that. And so she's like weighing herself, and then she films her feet, right? She's like, "I have my shoes on." And I'm like, dude, what? They're like little slippers, right? And I'm like, what are they, steel toe slippers? Like, how much are they going to weigh? Why are you worried about that? They're like the tiniest little like Tom looking slippers, right? And it's like, dude, what? I was just laughing at that first off, but then she gets on the scale and she weighs herself and she's like 507, right? So it's like 4 more pounds. Oh. But yeah, it's not that bad, right? It's normal, right?
Yeah.
That's what she does. She sits there and she goes, "Damn." I just lost it, dude. Because that really isn't that much weight, but it was just the whole thing, right? And what is the point of putting that in a video? Like, what are you doing? It's not like so much of her videos is trying to prove how everyone else is wrong. And I'm like, you're literally like half of your video runtime is proving these people wrong. And so all they're seeing is, if I want to get part of an Amberlynn video, I just have to make a fucking stupid, ridiculous claim, and then she'll talk about it for half the video. It's like
it is like this amazing. It's like a dog chasing its tail sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna have permanent entertainment there because the tail is attached to the fucking dog. And in this case, the Amberlynn Reid like snarkers or haters, whatever you want to call them, they're attached to Amberlynn. They're like a symbiote. They can't. It exists together.
I'm there too. Okay, so I just don't want to make it clear.
We've got. It's like Venom and Spider-Man. It needs a host. It needs a host to exist. Yeah. And Amberlynn's just she's more than a fucking host. Like she's like the symbiote god, man.
It's incredible. It's just like the stuff she'll do. It's just so ridiculous, dude.
Do you think she's like an actual? Do you think she's like an actual like? Because you know her kind of, and you know a lot about her. Mm-hmm. Do you think, kind of like Nick Ocado, this is all like a bit of a game to her, or do you actually think?
I think there's phases where she'll try and lean into that, but then she just crumbles, and then she can't do it anymore. That's what I think is. It's never to the level of Nick. Like, it's never that sophisticated. Like, there's no time it ever gets like that. But there'll be times where she's like, you can tell, in my opinion, that she's doing things knowing that people are gonna freak out about it. It's gonna get more people talking about it. Blah 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 blah. Right? But I'm just
thinking about Crumble now, man.
Yeah. Oh God. I think it's interspersed with her not being able to handle it and basically being like, "Please stop! I can't do this." Like,
But she's been doing it. This is what amazes me. She's been doing this shit for 11 years, bro. Yeah. I wasn't even in university when she started doing this. You'll probably know this because I don't actually know this. How long has she been in like the lolcow status for? Was it like really straight away, or did she like? Was it like a 2019, 2018 thing?
Yeah, it was a couple years into when she started, I think, for sure. But it was.
I wonder what the.
It's been a long period of time that's been what it's been.
I wonder what like the trigger for it was. Like, do you reckon one day someone was like, "Fucking hell, Amberlynn, you've gained 20 pounds again. Like,
I think it was
doing this."
A few things, but I think one of the first things that I know I talked about and like people really wanted me to talk about, and I was really trying to just focus on like weight stuff, but it was some allegations that have been levied against her about like DV and stuff like that.
That must have been like quite a different sort of sphere.
Yeah, it was definitely more like almost wanting to cancel kind of thing. But then because that never happened, I think it's just snowballed from there to now. It's like, people talk about stuff that's obviously much less serious. But
yeah,
dude. And so, so the fact that you brought up lolcow is literally exactly the question that I wanted to ask you. Okay, because I've been thinking about this, and I want to ask you and hear what you think before I say anything, right? Because I don't want to influence. But what do you think it is about a person that makes them a lolcow versus it just like nobody cares, right? They're like, that person sucks. No one cares, or like their content sucks, like that. I'm just curious. I have an opinion, but I'm just curious what you think.
What makes so anyone can be a lolcow. I do not believe it is a personality-based thing in terms of you have to be really funny or entertaining. In fact, I kind of get a bit cringed out when someone overtly tries to be a lolcow. Boogie298, for example. That guy tries to be a lolcow nowadays, whereas before he wasn't trying, and that's why it was funny to a lot of people. And what the reason you have a lolcow is they respond to everything. When someone says a nasty thing about them on Reddit, they respond to it. When it's on Twitter, they respond to it. When someone says, "Amberlynn, I think you've put on weight," they upload an Instagram story, dude, like fucking showing their little feet and everything. Like they respond to everything. And there's a lot of cases of it recently. There was like a commentary channel that recently went through some drama, and I saw that they were responding to like everything. They were going into people's live stream chat speaking about them. They were going into comments, and dude, I'm like, bro, what are you fucking doing? And my advice to like, if you're a YouTuber, oh my god, you don't need to respond to things. I've even said this in my YouTube videos. When I make a video talking about an influencer, a TikToker, a YouTuber, my best advice to those people would be, don't respond. Why would you respond? Because at the end of the day, responding in any situation, regardless of if you have the best response ever, never leads to anything positive. It can have people being like, "Oh wow, you did great." Like ultimately, yes. But if you respond to something, you can sway 90% of the people. But then there are those 10%. And they will get at you, and they will continuously get at you. And if you then keep on responding to those people, they'll get at you even further. And then more and more people will get frustrated of, "Oh, you're just talking about drama, you're just talking about this." And eventually that 10% will become 20%, 30%, 40%. It happened with Boogie. In 2016, Boogie was a loved person, but there was definitely a small section of people that didn't like Boogie. But as things got worse and worse, as he kept responding to more and more, getting involved in more drama when he didn't need to, it got worse and worse. And that 10% became 50, and now it's like 100%. And I think the same could be said for probably Amberlynn Reid or Nikocado Avocado. These people that, they know what they're doing. But I wouldn't say Nikocado Avocado is a lolcow, because he does everything intentionally. He knows how to play people. Maybe 4 years ago, he was a bit of a lolcow. But even then, I think 4 years ago, a lot of people knew Nikocado Avocado was doing shit for views. Whereas Amberlynn is not... Well, she is, but it's like... Her desire for views isn't, I'm going to be a genius mastermind and I'm going to convince everyone of all these certain things. It's like the views that she gets comes from, she knows that being a mess on camera is her thing, but either way, as you said, she will think that she's playing into it, but eventually she will crumble, and that's what her audience loves, and that is why she is a lolcow. Sorry, that was a ridiculously long answer, but
no, that's perfect, because so like my answer is a little different, but I think it might be what I am trying to define is what gets someone to be started as, and then I think your response perfectly answers and why does it go for so long. So this is what I was thinking in my head, and it could honestly be the same answer, just worded differently maybe. But my thought was, I think a big part of what makes someone start being a lolcow is instead of like they have to respond to everything, right? Because at the start maybe there's nothing to respond to, but what I think it is what gets someone started is there's always an excuse for everything that's going on. There's always like an excuse for there's never any responsibility taken for anything, and I think that's part of what bothers people so much to want to like, how do you not see that this is a problem? Like, this is your fault. Like, like you did something wrong, and it's like, there's just there's never any accountability taken for any wrongdoing. And I think that really bothers people, like, because we all have this like sense of justice, I think. And so like,
a sense of wanting to be right in every situation.
Yeah. And so like, I feel, again, I was just thinking about this, right? But I just feel like that's a really big part of what like gets people wanting to almost turn someone into a lolcow. Like they're like, I don't believe this person ever, and like it bothers me. And like, is anyone else like? Because like usually what happens is a community gets formed that is like feeling that way, right? Whether it's in the comments of the creator's video or on a subreddit or something, right? A community forms because they're like, this person is a freaking, like everything they say isn't true or whatever. Right. And like a men's version of this would be like Brendan Schaub. I don't know how much you follow that stuff, like podcast drama.
I know a lot about Brendan Schaub. That guy
so like it's the same thing with him. It's like there was always these excuses, and he would always make up all of these crazy explanations that if you looked into it for 2 seconds, you're like, he's lying, and like it's like that I feel like really turns like and then the never taking responsibility, always shifting blame. I think that really bothers people.
I just searched Brendan Schaub, and it's crazy to see like every video is just like Brendan Schaub's downfall. Brendan Schaub is a weirdo. Brendan Schaub is terrible. Crazy. But what's interesting is like he still like has his little crew of like Joe Rogan, and he's like still going on those. But sorry to go away from it. Like I definitely do agree with you. I think the whole thing of like constantly responding and trying to be right and make excuses for everything is definitely the main thing. And that's kind of what I mentioned earlier of like, don't respond to things. Like it like, unless it's like a truly monumental thing of like, you're being accused of something very serious. If someone just says, I don't like what you did in this video, I don't think that you necessarily need to respond to that. I don't like that guy's YouTube videos. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Yep. That's not a crime. Like, you could not like someone's videos. Or, I don't like this take someone had. It's like, okay, people have made videos about some takes that I've had before. I've not responded. You're entitled to make your fucking take, but like, I don't have to watch your video. And so, to be honest, sometimes I do. But like, it's like, I can see why they'd be mad, but like, I still hold my take, and I'm not going to make a response video because, for one, I don't want to turn this into a drama, and I don't want to turn this into an event. Because like, if you respond to one thing, it's going to become another thing, and then another thing, and another thing. And eventually you're going to be wrong somewhere, because you have to be wrong if you're in a situation where there's 50 responses, you know what I mean? And I think with Amberlynn, that's the problem. I know in certain things, she has been right in certain situations. But the problem is she responds so many times, she gets caught out. And sometimes it's like, why are you lying about this thing? Or why did you do that? Why did you do that? And she's done that 5 million times at this point. And here we are in 2025 of where she's... I remember in 2020 making an Amberlynn Reid video being like, is this kind of past the trend? Like,
how much further can this go, brother?
Yeah.
Dude, but okay, before we move on, because I just
I want to talk about the girlfriend
from Amberlynn. Another thing that happened in this video is, so this is at the start of the video that's titled like the one where my girlfriend breaks up with me or something like that, right? She titled it like a Friends episode. I don't really know why, but pop off, right? She starts the video being like, I'm doing a 10-day challenge, right? And like, I'm going to journal and do all these things for 10 days, eat a certain amount of calories, right? And
okay,
then
can we do a reminder? I want to talk about journaling, but I'm going to write it down in front of me just so. Okay, sorry. Carry on.
So she said that at the start, and then somewhere towards the middle of the video, she announces that she was just broken up with, right? Blah blah blah. And then like a few minutes later, she's like, I'm not doing the 10-day challenge anymore.
Mate, I fucking love her. She's awesome.
Dude, but it was the thing that's like, that's funny, right?
That is.
What is more funny to me is that either she's a genius, right? Maybe. Or it's just like, brother, you filmed in this video the start of the 10-day challenge, and you filmed saying I'm done. What you could do is not put it in the video, and then you won't be embarrassed about it's in the same video, dude. It's in the same
This
video.
is what I mean, though, about the whole intentional lol cow. She's got to be doing some of this deliberately. There's like no way. But at the same time, I'm also kind of like, is she? Because I've done so many videos, as both of us have. And it's like, sometimes it is starting to get to the point of like, maybe she's just like this. Like, maybe she does just view YouTube as like a personal diary, and like every day it's like, regardless of what she does, she's gonna say it, she's gonna do it. And it's like, what's Amberlynn doing today? I mean, if I go to her channel now, I'm sure she's uploaded something in the last 24 hours, which has caused some level of controversy, because that's the best part about Amberlynn. Every video, sorry, it sounds so mean to laugh at, but I don't even care, mate. Oh no, don't search it up. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Her latest thumbnail is fucking amazing. Look at this thumbnail. She's just glugging. To the people that can't see this, please go look at this new Amberlynn Reid thumbnail, which says "waking up with a broken heart," and it's just like a video of her just glugging like 4 liters of milk.
You gotta get that protein in, baby. Let's go.
I didn't actually know how much protein. Well, there's not that much, but in milk there is quite a bit of protein. I didn't realize that until my friend told me that my friend Jake told me that he wakes up and like downs like a full pint of milk, and he says he hates it so much that he holds his nose whilst he does it. And I was like,
why are you doing that, brother?
Yeah, I was like, just fucking eat a protein bar. Just eat a protein bar, or I don't know, a protein shake. You could, like, if you put some flavored whey into that, your experience will be 50 times better, and you will have more protein. Like, but yeah, sorry, I had to bring that up. But it gets even worse though. His little routine of where he said to me, "There's like I remember when I discovered that he like if we're going back to the stim conversation we had earlier. If there's a stim, so this guy, I don't know if you know who Jake is, Jake Baz, he's a YouTuber. So he said to me, he does the milk thing, and then he says he has a slice of bread, but with nothing on it, and he just eats it after that to kind of like, I don't know, like to like reduce the taste of milk. But then he says he's in his dressing gown at this point, and he gets a pear, puts it in his pocket, goes to his computer, does some shit for 20 minutes, remembers he has the pear, and eats the pear. And he said that he did this every day for 6 months. And I was like, I don't even know if we can call this like some form of weird eating disorder. This is just like, just weird. But maybe that is a stim. But no, sorry, the milk thumbnail reminded me of that.
That is an incredible story. Is he okay?
The guy's not okay, mate. Trust me. I've known that man for like 10 years. He is the least okay man I've ever met. But I actually did a podcast with Jake, and it lasted one episode. So that says what you need to know.
He was too busy
Jake.
Drinking milk the whole time, dude.
Guy was just fucking guzzling on milk. I was trying to get him wet, and
he just had a loaf of bread next to him.
Him and Amberlynn would do a great podcast,
dude. It would be. Could you imagine, right? Because there's a Lolcow Live, right, which has Boogie and Wings of Redemption, right?
I sometimes tune into that shit. I don't
Do
even
you?
know why.
I've never watched it, but I've seen clips.
There's like there's like a universe for it. Like I was listening to Keen talk about it, and like he was being like, yeah, we're starting up like 6 channels. And I was like listening to the whole process. There's like Lolcow Queens. There's like a Lolcow channel where people can just go on with their friends in a Discord and just talk. And like if they're like a Lolcow enough person, they get put onto Lolcow Live or some shit.
It's like Kill Tony kind of.
Like yeah. And honestly, like maybe it'll work. Like, but I sometimes tune into that just because I'm like, what is Boogie 298? Like, what like sad action is that man doing today? Because like he's another man that I've spoken about quite a bit, not in videos but on podcasts, of where like that whole thing is just like, it's sad. So, sorry, we'll go back to what you were talking about. But the Boogie thing is like really sad because I've actually spoken to Boogie before, and he was like really nice to me, and I'm sure he was nice to you, right?
Yeah, he was like, it was before he had gotten his weight loss surgery, and he was like wanting to lose weight, and so I was like trying to give him, like, we just kind of talked about like weight loss advice and stuff, and but this was before everything happened. You know, this is a long time ago at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought I was. Did it go anywhere?
No, no, it didn't really go anywhere. I don't think he even ever like mentioned it anywhere. But it would just be funny to have a. I was thinking like a Lolcow Live.
As you literally look at. I just looked at my bottom right. Look at this. Says that this shows that I watch it. Look what's coming up. It's the first recommended. It's Lolcow Live Airsoft Fatty.
Yeah,
I don't even know who that guy is.
You know? Oh, I've watched a couple of videos about him. But dude, it would be just so interesting to have like one with like Amberlynn and like, you know, the other people in Girl World.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, yeah,
bro, you should like genuinely. I feel like that would be if anyone from the Lolcow Live people listening, get Amberlynn Reid on there and get all of those people in it, because that shit would like do so well. Yeah. Like, because they have something new every day. Like Amberlynn's video that I mentioned earlier where she's drinking milk, it's called Waking Up with a Broken Heart, Full Day of Eating with Calories and Weigh-In. That's got 2,000 dislikes to 400 likes, and all of the comments are just roasting her. The top comment is just wait a week or two and you'll find the next love of your life who's the best and most supportive person ever. Someone says she, quote unquote, she's left her little shampoo bottle. Girl, throw it away. Okay, so I think she's talking. Yeah. The scratch lasting longer than any relationship. She told everyone that she broke up with you because you're crazy and you threatened to ruin her life. Oh, is that something that happened?
Yeah.
Okay, do you want to? Yeah, let's actually get into their breakup. Tell me, explain to me what the gist is.
Oh, so I think what you are talking about is another breakup with a previous partner. Because they're a previous partner of hers. They go by Beck. They have been uploading videos recently.
Apparently Tommy said it. Apparently this is, I don't know if it, like, basically someone says, how do you know this? We need the tea. And someone says, it was Tommy who said it in Instagram comments. And that like absolutely ratios them. And then somebody else says, she did say it. It's a fact. Wow, I don't know if that screenshot's legitimate, but so that could be another person saying that Amberlynn is crazy.
Yeah. Maybe I hadn't seen that yet, but that is another thing that's been going on is this person, and there was quite a long history with them. And from what I had seen when they were on Amberlynn's channel, they were usually pretty like docile and kind of let Amberlynn do whatever she wanted. They kind of became dependent on Amberlynn. And so it's just them kind of, they've been talking about their experience with the really terrible stuff that they were, like how they were treated. And so that's been happening recently too, which is adding to a lot of the stuff with Amberlynn, which is probably why she's so stressed out and, you know, drinking a gallon of milk.
Bro, I hope that milk's good because she needs it. Like, she needs to de-stress right now. So the breakup is seemingly quite messy. I mean, honestly, I as much as it's funny, I do love that we have like our little update section every week of Amberlynn. It's great because there is so much. I was thinking about doing so you know my Nick Ocado video where I just go through the entire history of it. I was genuinely thinking of doing that with Amberlynn Reid, but I was like, I don't know if I can do that. Like, I genuinely don't know.
Lot, dude. Yeah.
I don't know if the file size is even allowed on YouTube. That shit would be like 10 hours long, maybe even longer. Like, with because like, I was saying to Jacket, my editor, I said to her that I was thinking about maybe redoing my Amberlynn Reid iceberg because that iceberg video was like an hour long or something, and I'm like, bro,
that's like
that's not
the tip of the
yeah, that's not enough. Like, and I remember when I made that video, I had a lot of people being like, bro, you've not got into the this is the tip of the iceberg, if not even into the iceberg. Yeah, and like looking back on it, I think that's absolutely correct. So maybe I will, rather than do a chronological timeline, instead do like a bigger deep dive into Amberlynn Reid because, I mean, yeah, there is just so much, dude.
Yeah, and there's like even a lot that I don't know, especially like the past stuff before I really like talked about Amberlynn too much. Now, you know, I make, you know, I call her the co-host of my channel. Like I make quite a bit of videos. Let's be real, right? And
you've been doing really well though this year, bro. I forgot to say that to you. Like your channel is like, obviously it's always been doing fine, but like recently it seems to be doing like really well.
Yeah,
like, well done, man.
Yeah. Thank you. I've had a good few months. I've been trying to be more consistent. Like since I moved, I was like, all right, I have a lot less distractions, and so I've been and like, you know,
grind mode,
Rachel.
brother.
Yeah, Rachel helps a lot too, and I think we've just been hitting a stride. Yeah, seriously, like we've been hitting a stride of like making things easier and more efficient, and like coming up with better ideas and things that are more interesting.
So Rachel is like a research or an ideas person,
dude. I don't even know. Like honestly, I don't even know how I could fully explain it. Like she just helps in every aspect of everything that I do. Like
I have that. Sorry, go.
Yeah, just like in every thing, like she's just helped me with a lot, and so so I really trust of like what she thinks about a thumbnail or the idea. Like a lot of times she'll come up with the idea, right? And like and so she's just really tuned into basically everything I do. Like we work on thumbnails together. We come up like all of that stuff. It's just like she really helps a lot with. It's hard to even explain. So it's like. Yeah, I say like producer if someone really is like curious. Yeah. But there's just as far as maybe just for videos that could be correct, but there's just a lot of other aspects in my life that she helps with as well. So
yeah, I feel like it's important to have like, especially when you've been doing it for a long time. When you do it for like the first like 5 years, it's easy to do it by yourself. But I feel like as you go further in, you kind of need those people. And I don't have someone like who really helps me with like thumbnails and stuff, but I have my researcher Louisa, who is like an absolute angel. Like this, like you've seen the work she does.
It's incredible.
Like it's like I would not be like. Don't get me wrong, I do my research too. Like obviously I read a document and do my own research and stuff like that. But just like the work she does for me helps so much. Right? It just lays the groundwork. But on top of that, and she also helps like Rachel does with you with ideas and stuff like that. And just having that person to like talk about with these things and just, you know, have these things like laid out in front of you to just almost like help like your brain work a bit better with these things. It's just like the benefit of having that there is just like so worth it.
Yeah, seriously. So, but yeah, dude, like, things have been going well, but it's definitely like, dude, like it's just with Amberlynn, I think part of it is I've leaned into that a little bit more because there's just always something to talk about. It's like, it's just,
there's no shame in it. Like YouTube, there's a content game, man. Like if there's stuff to talk about, then talk about it. Like I was thinking the other day, like I've made 2 videos on Ashley Trevino, and there's even more stuff coming out. And I'm like, bro, I'm going to make a 3rd video. Like, I don't care if it sounds like I'm overdoing it. I want to talk about it. I'm invested in it. And I feel like when you make multiple videos on something,
it's easier to catch everyone up. You don't have to go through it all. Yeah.
But it also like is encouraging you to make another video on it though, because it's like, I've already made all of these videos. I'm invested in this. Why would I not want to keep on covering?
Yeah, because if you think about it, like not everyone could just jump in and then cover this random thing, right? They would have to go over the whole previous stuff, and that's just really hard to kind of just jump into, right?
That's like a big problem that I have with a lot of topics. Like if something happens, say on TikTok, there's like this big situation and I want to cover it. It's a problem of like jumping into it is difficult because like
you have to explain the context.
You've got to go through everything because it's like, especially if the situation is like ongoing for a week or 2 weeks straight. Because if you just be like, oh yeah, this thing happened at the beginning, it's like, well, that's old news. So like usually with a situation now, with like a new topic, I will do a big video going through all of the things, and then I will be able to then do my follow-up videos and update videos. Like I did that with Jojo Siwa, where I've updated it consistently since, and I'm probably going to do that with Ashley Torino and with both of us, Amberlynn Reid. Like I did my big iceberg, and since then I've done my videos here and there about her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude, it's just so interesting. But it's so interesting how many people become like lolcows, and how like it's like this primal need as humans, because in every aspect of the internet, with like MMA it's like Brendan Schaub, and like with weight loss it's Amberlynn Reid, and like there's just so many different versions of it. It's like in every community there is a lolcow of that community.
It's crazy. Like bro, I'm like invested in a lot of like video game stuff, and even like in the Pokemon community, there's people considered lolcows there. There's people considered lolcows in like literally, as you said, any community, even in like weight loss stuff. Like there's if anything, there's so many of them in weight loss stuff. Like it's crazy.
I wonder at what point does someone like really realize they are a lolcow, I wonder if there's like a moment, or you just look back and you're like, damn, like, or do you ever accept that that's true, and you're just like, no, it's just people are wrong, they don't understand me, and they're, I'm just so interested in that. Like, do you ever fully accept it and just be like, it is what it is?
Well, my question to you is, once you become a lolcow, right? Once you have like a snark Reddit, you have like YouTube channels dedicated to your every single move, can you get out of that? Do you believe that when you're in that solidified region of like genre of content, is it possible to unlolcow yourself? Because I don't know if I've ever seen that before. I don't know if I've ever seen someone go from lolcow to celebrated YouTuber. It's usually celebrated YouTuber to lolcow, and they remain there for the rest of their career. Like Amberlynn Reid, Onision, Boogie299A, Illuminati. I feel like maybe with Illuminati, she's the one that I think could maybe get back on track. Maybe. I doubt it very much. Like 99.9% of my mind says no. But I think if she just started to make documentaries again and just avoided all forms of drama, never spoke about it, maybe she could. But other than that, I can't think of anyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think she could, because I'm sure there'd be an easy way to basically do the video she was doing and just change her voice enough to where people wouldn't even know it's her.
I don't even know if it's that though, bro. I think if she just uploads her way through controversy, maybe she'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think the reason for that is because it wasn't really her personality for the most part that got her into, being a lolcow. It was like the action she took and some personality things, right? When she like was on Twitter being like, why would you take my editing style? And it's like, bro, come on. Like, and then she was found out to be plagiarizing. Like, I think that part makes sense for the lolcow stuff, but that was just like one part of the whole issue, which was she was just a terrible person. That was really the controversy, was less how silly she reacted to the thing, right?
Yeah. But I think the benefit there for her, again, with the lack of personality thing, is her content isn't driven by her personality. Meaning that if she just hits the right topic, like she could come back, make a video on a topic that just hits in the algorithm. And the reality is there are 7 billion people on this planet. 1 million of those people are people that don't like Illuminati. There are enough people out there, especially on YouTube, for Illuminati to gain a new audience. And I think the problem is, though, can the same be said for someone like Amberlynn Reid or Boogie or anyone else that's a lolcow? I don't really know, because those people, their content is based around them as a human being, Amberlyn, if she started making commentary videos, it would be very fucking weird.
Dude, that'd be so good. I would love those. Can you imagine
if she just like one day made a video on like another lolcow? I feel like that'd be amazing.
Dude, I would love it. I would love it. That would be my most watched YouTube channel for
Sorry,
sure.
I'm not being weird right now. Kenji's just come into the room. He's like rolling around.
Oh, he's like, we're talking about locals, bro.
Yeah, no, he's just come into it. He's just like rolling around on the floor. No, yeah, dude. If she was to make a video on like anyone, who would it be? She's got to have an enemy out there. There's got to be someone.
Dude, it would there's without a doubt it would just be any reaction channel. Like it would just be whatever
would it
reaction
be you?
channel. I don't think
it would be you,
man.
because you're nice. You know, you've never just one day got in a video and been like, "Fuck you,
Amberlynn."
Whereas all these other channels,
other
channels are like brutal.
Yeah, for her, like I think some of the stuff that she is accused of is pretty bad. But I think that it's just some of the stuff is just funny, like people get mad at me. I don't think she's the worst person in the world. I definitely think that she makes some very funny and stupid decisions. But yeah, I think like,
the fuck? I just had something like, not like, there's not like this looks gross what I just did. There's like some fluff just stuck in my nose. What the fuck?
Oh,
sorry.
Maybe it's from your mic.
It was like, maybe, yeah. Actually, no, yeah, it definitely will be. I'm like struggling to breathe through my nose right now. Sorry, carry on.
No, but like with.
Wait. I'm sorry. There's something that I need to. So I've had a light bulb.
Okay,
in my
let's
head
hear
moment. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Do you want to continue? Okay. I discovered that there is. I was about to say I would love it if one day a commentary channel made a video like fully just defending everything Amberlynn's done. I'd love to see how that goes. But then I realized
they would just turn themselves into a locale.
No, bro, you think that. I found a YouTube video the other day defending Amberlynn Reid, and it was completely positive in the comment section. But there's a catch to this. The YouTuber was French.
Dude,
and they would speak...
That was
Have you seen this?
Dude? Yeah, that was a thing.
Have you seen it? Yeah. And like everything they said in their video was like, in the end, from based on the comments, what I've read, just ended up wrong pretty much or something.
Dude, it was like right when that person released the video, there was like a lot of very positive comments in Amberlynn's videos, right?
Yeah,
but then eventually it just died out because people were like, I don't care anymore. Like they're just like, I think I saw recently, and it was like one of the top comments on one of her videos. People were like, where are all the French people now? They all left, dude.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the video right now, and but bearing in mind, I'm not saying that the YouTuber's video was bad. I found it. It has 1.2 million views, bro, and this was 2 years ago. But I think they also made a video defending Eugenia Cooney, and that video. I'm like with Eugenia, I definitely think like there is a lot of bullying for her, but at the same time, I've never understood the people that are like, you can't speak about her because that's disgusting and you shouldn't be commenting on someone's body. But it's like, bro, I think you're playing blissful ignorance if you deny that there is a clear problem there. Now, maybe, obviously, there's a conversation surrounding content farming these people, but I think just talking about it and being worried and concerned for this individual is totally fine, and making a video is fine. Like, to deny that... I'm not, by the way, I don't know if the YouTuber did. I'm just more talking about the broad spectrum of people that defend these individuals. I've seen a lot of people basically say you can't speak about Eugenia, but it's like, I think you can and you should. I haven't done a video on her in a long time, but I think that like it's important to speak about these issues because like she like clearly has a lot of things to be concerned about. And I do believe that when someone does get criticized so much, it does naturally lead to someone being like, I want to defend that person, which is totally fine if there is valid defenses. But like, yeah, with the Amberlynn video, as you said, there were a lot of like random French comments in her comment section. It was very weird to see.
Yeah, so it's with a lot of lolcows, I think that's another part of what makes them interesting, and I think what keeps them staying lolcows, this is my opinion, is that like it's this need to kind of understand the lore behind them to find what's happening funny or interesting, right? I think that that's a big part of what makes Amberlynn such an interesting one, is because there's so much lore that goes into why people are what, that French person might have thought are just making fun of this person. Like they're just being mean.
Well,
it's like, this
is the thing about, sorry, go on.
Well, I was just going to say there's usually a history behind what makes that person that's complicated and like, I think it requires that sense of community because like, it's like this community understands everything, and to be part of the community is to start understanding these really nuanced and like things from the past to like be able to understand all of the current jokes that are happening and what makes it funny,
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
No, it does. It does. For me with Amberlynn as well, like I actually think like I can probably understand with the Amberlynn video maybe why they made it. Like when I did my iceberg video, a big part of it was me being like, I don't think this is like an issue. I think this is overblown, but I also think there are some real concerns to be had about Amberlynn. And I think the problem is like it kind of seems from what I can read that like the defense is like an outright defense. But like, I think if you're, as you said, if you're in that community or if you're you know that there are real issues there, but there are also real controversies and dramas that the thing is Amberlynn plays into it. She loves it half the time, like I think she wants drama because if she didn't have drama, she wouldn't have her YouTube channel at the end of the day. Like, I'm not saying that, she should thank all these people that talk about her, but I'm saying that I think she knows, as I said earlier, it's like a symbiotic relationship. One cannot exist without the other. And I think she knows that. And I can understand from a broader perspective, not knowing too much, not to say she didn't do research, but not being involved in that community for a long time, it would be easy to think that it's all just hate. I do think a lot of it is just hate, but I think that there is also a portion that has very valid criticism. And also, like, I think the feeder stuff in particular was like a big example of that. Like Amberlynn clearly was dating someone that was a feeder, lying about it and was playing it down. And I think a lot of people had rights to be concerned in that situation. Yeah.
And I think like to answer the previous question though, like, do you think someone can unlolcow themselves? I don't know if I'm not sure if there's a way. The thing that I think about is I think that one thing that would have to happen for like an Amberlynn Reid or someone like that is the need to disappear. Kind of like what we saw Nick Ocado do. I think like you can't like show this transformation in real time. I just don't think it'll work. I don't think that the person will be capable of it.
Especially when you've shown your attempted transformations 50 times.
Yeah. I don't think you're like that person is capable of doing that while showing the progress, because I think they just get eaten alive by the need to respond to every little thing, right? And so I think like the whole disappearing, and then what's important about disappearing is working on yourself and like maybe changing with Amberlynn Reid, probably as sad as this is, and I'm sure people would disagree, but I think if she changed her appearance quite a bit, people would be like, oh my God, there was a huge transformation here, right? But then as well, work on those, and what's more important, I think, is working on those bad character traits that you have, the need to respond to every little thing and all of that stuff, and like always having an excuse for everything, and like maybe really taking responsibility, coming back and be like, I did all of these things wrong, it was messed up, like really explain yourself. I think that, I'm not saying that would work, but I feel like that would be like an almost necessary part of the plan for it to work.
I definitely think if Amberlynn left for a year and came back and had lost loads of weight, people would be like, oh wow, that's amazing. And I think that's like a thing that we spoke about in the Nick Ocado video of where, is that necessarily right? I don't know if it is, because again, I think a lot of people have a lot of issues with Amberlynn outside of her weight. I think that the starting entry topic to Amberlynn Reid is her weight, but then there are so many other things involved in it with Amberlynn Reid outside of her weight. But I think in terms of like a broader perspective, if Amberlynn just randomly lost like tons of weight, she was like skinny in the next video in like a year's time, I think that general audiences would flock to her being like, this is incredible, you're a new person, wow, you're amazing. And I think that would work for her. But then depending on where she goes with her content and what her personality is like, then will depend if she becomes a lolcow. So it is interesting to think that the only route is weight loss. And like, that is quite sad in my opinion. Like, I think it shouldn't be that. I think there should be alternative methods, but I guess that is just like a sad reflection of everything.
I think, I mean, And I think everything you said is true, but I think the reason why it's so important for Amberlynn in particular is because it's such a big part of what made her a lolcow in the first place, right?
Yeah.
Like I think like, and so it would be such a huge part of what made them interesting, right? Like it's I think a big part of what makes someone a lolcow is they have to have something that's interesting enough about them that separates them from just being a normal person. That is like, why is that person interesting, right? Like, I think of like Amberlynn Reid, it's like her weight. And I think with like Brendan Schaub, right? He was a former fighter and like, you know, he was this person that a lot of people really held in high regard. And it's like the difference in like how he actually acts versus what like was portrayed, you know, I think that's what makes him interesting. And so I think like it would be her changing a fundamental reason of what made her interesting as a lolcow, at least in my opinion. Like, I know there's a lot of people like, oh, it has nothing to do with her weight. And I'm like, I mean, I understand where you're coming from because there's a lot of other stuff that goes into it. I get that. But it's like, I just don't think it would be as interesting if it was someone that wasn't, you know, almost 600 pounds or whatever, you know?
100%. Yeah. Yeah, no, to be honest, I don't think we're ever going to see this stuff, but it is interesting to think about. But then again, though, when someone's been a lolcow for like 10 years, it is hard. I mean, but as we said, Nick Avocado did do it. Like, I think as I said, I think like 4 years ago, maybe he could have been considered a lolcow. Now, he definitely isn't. And it is interesting to see, like, in his comment sections, it used to just be nothing but negativity.
Yeah,
but
now it's positive, dude.
Yeah,
like,
every comment is positive. It's insane. And like, I mean, I don't know how well he's doing. I haven't checked on his channel for like a couple of months, but let me go see.
Oh,
like,
have you haven't seen the recent stuff he's posted?
3 steps ahead 2 weeks ago. What? What's wrong with his face? He's got like loads of.
He got plastic surgery.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
On what?
He got like his like because like when you lose a lot of weight, you have like loose skin on your neck and stuff and under your chin, and it can get bad for certain people. And so he got rid of that, and like it looks like he did other stuff too. I haven't fully watched the video, but I saw like the little clips about it.
Oh well, good for him, I guess. Like if that helps him out, yeah. I mean, I'm just looking at his channel now. Like, you know, it's not doing amazing, but at the end of the day, the guy's probably a rich multimillionaire. So like, who's really laughing at the end of the day, you know?
Yeah, but again, but that's interesting to me. Like, it was such a huge reveal when he first came back. But then it's like,
no one gives a fuck after.
Yeah, and I mean, not no one. Like, he has an audience, but it's definitely smaller than it was.
It's what I said earlier. The general audience will come over and say, "That's amazing," but I don't care about you. Like, and not in a mean way. That's fine. I think if I stopped uploading a video and one day uploaded this transformation where I look like Chris Hemsworth, people would be like, "Wow, that's amazing."
Yeah.
But I don't care about you. And like, you can lose weight. That's great. But at the end of the day, making it like I mean, you can make it your content, but I don't think Nick was ever going to do that. Like, Nick was never going to become a fitness advice channel, you know? Maybe if he did that, maybe if he became like a Will Tennyson channel, you know, Will? Like his channel where he's doing like fitness things and like crazy challenges and going to certain places and doing certain things. Like, maybe if he did that, it might work, but he didn't. And I don't really think Nick knows what his content is going to be, and I wouldn't know what Amberlynn's content would be if she stopped doing what she does.
Maybe she could do some movie reviews or something, you know?
She can become a commentary channel. I'd love to know what takes about JoJo Siwa.
Dude, that would be... It would be so interesting. I wonder if this exists. I'm sure it does, but like a commentary YouTuber who is also like a lolcow. Like, so you...
I mean, there's plenty. There's plenty. Have you not seen like the Lewis McClung stuff? I'm not saying he's a lolcow, but like there's the stuff with also. I think if anyone could be considered one. What's his name? Jake Doolittle.
Oh, like, I think, like, yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
Like I saw that on the H3 content nuke that he posted. Like the top comment, I didn't really look at many of them other than the top comment, and somebody commented being like, "When you Jake Doolittle too close to the sun," and have like 20,000 likes, and I'm like, bro, what? That doesn't even mean anything. But like, I think that is like a case of like a commentary channel in a lolcow status, and I think with him, he can definitely get out of it. I think if he just uploads videos and, has some decent takes, or just, not even has good takes, but just doesn't get in controversy, I think he'll be fine. But I think that those two recently are the ones in my mind. Def Noodles, he definitely got
that one is crazy to me. Like,
he was really popular.
Yeah, and like he was really popular, and like I thought, honestly, I would watch some of his videos, and I thought his takes, I mean, sometimes they weren't great, but sometimes they were fine. I remember thinking that. But then I think a lot of his takes, like, that's probably the perfect actually example. And I think like because he went from well respected enough, he had certain detractors the whole time, I think for sure. And then he just again, it was, and like you said, responded to everything. It was like nonstop.
And he thing is, he probably still is. He's probably out there somewhere right now on a channel we're not even aware of.
Dude,
responding to everything.
I think he still uploads.
I respect it. Yeah. If he's still making commentary videos, that's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
I made videos about Definitely. I think I've got like 2 or 3 videos about him, but like in 2022, I think that was. But like, it wasn't just that. Like, he was doing like these comedy shows, and like shit was going down there, and it was like, it felt that he was doing everything wrong at every single possible angle, and it's like, bro, it's interesting and kind of terrifying that like you can be a commentary channel and you can be making videos where you're like, you should do this and you should do that, and like this is what's right, but it's like at the end of the day, in the back of all our minds, there is a little thing which is being a fucking idiot, and it's always there for all of us, and one day you or me could tap into that, and like we could say something stupid, and like we then it's like a match. You've got like and if you get that match and like spark it on like a tinder box or whatever you want to call it, the match lights. It's your choice whether you want to let the match burn or put it in some water and put it out, or throw the match onto some fucking oil and then let that shit explode. When when that little stupid thing in your mind goes off, you can choose. Am I going to, either say sorry, ignore the controversy, or am I going to just go fucking crazy? And and it's kind of a beautiful thing. I love it. Like, in a weird, sick way, when there's like a new lolcow on the streets, like 5 years ago, I would have been probably more empathetic, but now I'm like so like ingrained into YouTube. It's like, who's the next one? Like, who's doing the next thing? Like, because like I watch all the videos about these things. I do. I'm not gonna lie to the audience. I consume quite a lot of commentary videos about everything, and it's like it's usually just like background noise for me. And it's like every week there's a new guy. I feel like in 2025 it's been an exceptional year for lolcows, and it's getting worse and worse. It almost feels like it's like becoming a genre of content just to be a lolcow, and it is kind of messed up, but at the same time it's also kind of hilarious.
Yeah, I think like who I want to find, maybe there's a person like this that exists, but I want to find like a commentary YouTuber who is just the classic like Woodoi guy, and just being like all his videos like, Woodoi, you freaking shouldn't even do that, by the way. Like, and it's just like I just think that would be incredible, like a Woodoi guy YouTuber who makes commentary videos. Like, unironically though, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I want to find.
I want like a commentary YouTuber that is just like a dude that just has the wrong opinion on fucking everything, but he just continues, and it's like, it would be amazing. Like, if there's like a controversy of where it's like, there's the contrarian opinion, there's the supposed right opinion, and then there's just the wrong opinion. Imagine like, and I'm talking in like every instance. Imagine someone like commits a crime and they make a whole ass commentary video defending him. It would be like, I don't know why, but like the idea of that existing, I mean, there has to be someone out there doing that, man. There has to be a guy out there defending Onision or something like that. And I want that, because it is like the content ecosystem, because as I said, it's like a symbiotic thing of where you'll have that guy, but then you'll have another guy. It's like there's always a bigger fish, and there's always gonna be a guy that comes along as like, I'm gonna take your video and I'm gonna make my video saying why you're stupid. And it's like, it's so petty, but it is like, I think in life you've got to have your pettiness somewhere. There's got to be something that you take pettiness in. It doesn't have to be commentary videos. It doesn't have to be like drama. It can be anything. And for me, I enjoy the pettiness sometimes. Like, there's a load of serious stuff on the internet. There's like serious allegations, serious situations. But I think sometimes there's something beautiful in trashy, petty drama, and I just love consuming. So I won't make videos half the time speaking about it because I don't care that much. But like, I love just watching it unfold, and I'll never give my opinions because I don't care that much. But there's just something nice about that traditional, shitty, petty drama. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it explains. I mean, you are British, so I understand. You love the tea, brother. You love the tea. That's basically.
I do love the tea. I do. It's not just the tea, though, man. It's like, I think it almost comes down to the the freak show thing that I think I mentioned a few episodes. YouTube is like a real life freak show of where like you will just get like two fuckheads coming up against each other and just like bashing heads, man. And it goes back so far, bro. Like, I don't know if you know about this drama, but like in 2010, like the original YouTube drama was Wings of Redemption against the Syndicate Project on Call of Duty, of where like Wings was like saying that he could like beat Syndicate in a quick scoping match, and like it was like this massive drama, and there's a video of where like Syndicate is like absolutely smoking him on high rise on MW2, and it's like Wings of Redemption starts crashing out, and that is where he became a lolcow. That is ingrained in YouTube history.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, bro. The video
what made him such a prolific lolcow, because I never really got into it.
That's kind of where I think that's where one of the first YouTube lolcow things happened. And I remember going into school the next day being like, did you see Wings like going up against Syndicate? And that shit is incredible. Like, that's culture. That's like YouTube culture, man. And I hope that doesn't end, because like sometimes it does kind of feel that everything is serious. So I think YouTube needs a village idiot. You know? I think having those village idiots is like key to this website. And some people want to like be on their little high horse because they're too good for it. But I think sometimes it's always been there. You go down to a pub, you go to a bar, there's some idiot, and that's beautiful. There's always an idiot. There's idiots in friendship groups. I've got a friend that wakes up every morning, pinches his nose, and glugs fucking 4 gallons of milk. Like, that shit is amazing. And I think having that idiot is great. You need an idiot, man. And sometimes I'll take the role of an idiot if I need to. But I think it's just important to have idiots in this world.
No, you know? that's a beautiful way to explain it. That makes me feel less embarrassed about liking it.
No, we should take passion or something in, or at least enjoyment in the fact that, yeah, I know that Amberlynn Reid and fucking her breaking up with some random person I'm never going to meet isn't changing the world. And I think the important thing is to tell yourself, we're not changing the world making this podcast or making our videos well, some videos maybe, you know, like I think you've definitely made some very important videos. I don't know if I have, but I think when we're covering these things, it's important to say this isn't changing the world. This is petty drama for the most part, but that's fine. It is okay to talk about these things, and we shouldn't be shamed into that. And I think
to add to that, though, I think it's important to keep it that and not turn it into like thinking it's the end of the world and this person needs to like die or like have serious consequences, right?
Sometimes there should be a distinction here to what I'm talking about. There is petty stuff and there is serious stuff. The feeder stuff, that is serious deep shit. But like the breakup stuff, that's goofy, man. I remember making a video, funnily enough, actually, about Eugenia Cooney and Adam McIntyre. And I called it the weirdest YouTube drama ever, of where Adam McIntyre made a video of where he was like, he had like a really bad experience with Eugenia Cooney at an event. And then Eugenia responded to it being like, I've never met this guy in my entire life. I've never seen this guy. I wasn't even in that state when that happened, as in like that US state. She was in like, it took place in California and she was in like, I don't know why I'm saying Minnesota again, but she was in Minnesota or something like that. And it turned out there was a person at this event who was dressing up as Eugenia Cooney, pretending to be her,
what the
or something and actually starting drama or something, or so. That's what the conclusion was at the ending of it, and I was like, that's fucking beautiful, because like that is so stupid. And it is, like, for Eugenia's sake, probably kind of scary. I get that. But on a broader YouTube, spectrum, we need these stories. We need these stupid things to happen. And, like, I don't think Adam McIntyre needs to lose his career for making that video. Probably take the video down and, make peace of Eugenia, which I believe he actually did. And I don't think Eugenia Cooney needs to go,
I'm sorry, that's crazy.
I know, it is mental.
That is, someone was impersonating someone and causing drama, and then someone uploaded on their very popular YouTube channel a video, and then someone else was like, brother, I wasn't even there. I don't know who you are. That's crazy.
Yeah, look, here's the video. I have a title of it here. Here it is. Eugenia Cooney and the most confusing drama ever. And the thumbnail is just, this is not true. And I remember at the time just being like, what the fuck is going on here?
Dude, that was years ago. Oh my God.
Yeah,
I thought this just happened. Dude, that's incredible.
No. It's 2022, I think. And like, I don't know Adam McIntyre, like personally. We've spoken and we follow each other. I'd say he's like an acquaintance. In fact, me and Adam are going to Japan at the same time, and we've actually spoken about meetings, so maybe we will become buddies in Japan. But I would like to say I don't think Adam would like just make that up. But it very much did seem to come to a conclusion that it did be a case. It was a case of like someone was just pretending to be Eugenia, which is just that's insane. Like absolutely insane. But like it is like one of those beautiful YouTube drama moments.
Yeah, dude. I would be so curious with like a podcast with him just explaining that whole experience of like, when you saw her, did someone tell you it was Eugenia Cooney? Did you just know it was? Like, is there a reason that you thought it was her? If like, you know what I mean? Like,
we need to get them both on. Maybe we can ask.
Incredible. Oh my God.
Like, I think this is like, if anyone's still listening in the hour and 40 mark, please comment down below firstly. But if you are, if there's anything like you guys want us to talk about and you think it's too goofy, it's never too goofy.
Yeah.
Let me know. Maybe it's too goofy for me to make a main channel video sometimes, but I think there is some beauty in just stupid drama, and I think YouTube was built on that, like with like things like Drama Alert and like all sorts of like, whether you hate it or whether you love it, at the end of the day, it is a massive part of the content ecosystem nowadays, and it's not everything needs to be serious. I will make my serious videos, probably more than I do my goofy ones. But, in this case, I think the Amberlynn stuff is pretty hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not super, like heavy feeling, Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And like, I think like if everything was heavy constantly, it would be a little bit draining. So like my next two videos are going to be about Amberlynn and Ashley Trevino. And I kind of intend in those videos just to take it in like a light perspective for them. Maybe not so much the Ashley one, because she does do some weird shit, but the Amberlynn one, this stuff kind of just seems... I mean, I don't know though, because like it actually kind of feels like with the comments we've seen of where people are being like, oh no, she's like the ex is coming out speaking up against her. Maybe it will turn into something serious, but right now, Amberlynn Reid drinking a load of milk is just the picture in my mind to summarize everything.
Yeah, dude. I think I'm excited for that. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, me too. I'll probably make it next week, I think, maybe. But yeah. What? There was something else I wanted to talk about. I can't remember. Is there anything you want to talk about in particular before we?
No, that was the main thing. I'm glad that it ended up being such a long conversation, because I think it's just a fascinating topic to think about, like what makes someone a lolcow, and the like, it's just so interesting to me, because like I said, it's in every part of internet culture will have their version of a lolcow, and it's just like, what is it? Like, what is it that makes that person that way?
List your top 3 favorite lolcows down below.
Maybe we'll do an episode on them.
Oh, that's a great idea. We need like a Watch Mojo top 10 lolcows of all time. Like. Bro, honestly, genuinely, to the people listening, go down below and comment any lolcow you can think of. So we can like, maybe in the next episode, we'll like just go through our top 10 lolcows or something like that. Because I think that's actually a pretty funny idea, because like there are so many, man. And like, I feel like someone like Boogie2988 for me would maybe be number one, but I'm probably not thinking of this. There's so many lolcows that you forget. Like Def Noodles is a lol. Like I don't know if he is anymore, but he was a lolcow at least at one point. And like, there's probably ones which we've covered loads before that we've just forgotten about, you know. But then there is the distinction of someone that isn't a lolcow. I wouldn't say Shane Dawson is a lolcow because he still has a diehard audience,
and it's huge too.
Yeah. Gets a million views a podcast, bro. I'm happy with 10K episode.
Yeah.
To have that 10,000 people listen, that's great. Cool. But a million listen to Shane
that's crazy,
every week.
Dude. Every week?
After like spunking on his cat as well. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy, bro. So, I hope Mittens is all right, man. They've been through a lot.
Oh, man.
That's what I mean, though. YouTube drama's funny. Shane Dawson spunking on his cat was like a real thing that I remember when that happened, and he made the tweet being like, "I did not do this to my cat."
Oh my God.
And people were like, I was making serious videos like, let's analyze the facts. Did Shane Dawson actually diddle his cat? Maybe.
Oh my God, dude, it's incredible.
Do you think he did?
I don't know, man. I have no idea.
You think you think he didn't. You think it's like, there's no way he did that. But there are videos of which I remember, like, I've collaborated with the guy. I used to think the guy was like a pretty sweet dude. We've had conversations, man. Like Shane and me.
When you guys collaborated, how did that work? And like, what was the interaction like between you?
Shane reached out to me months before the collaboration, like half a year before that, I think. Maybe that's a bit long, but a long time before that. He reached out to me about a video I made to do with him, and I don't want to like, I know obviously everyone hates him, but like, I don't want to like go into, I'll tell you off camera like what the specifics were, but like he was like just speaking to me about a video I made, and like we had a good chat, and he followed me, and we had a few conversations here and there from what I remember. I've lost all the DMs now because it was on my old Instagram account, but and then he reached out to me in like an email just being like, yo, I'm making this series and like I'd love to have you on. You're like a commentary guy who speaks about Jake Paul quite a lot, you seem in depth with it, and I'd love to make a video where we just go through it all together. And I was like, yeah, obviously. Like Shane was hot shit at that time, bro. That was just coming off the Tana Mojo podcast, and everyone loved the guy, and I thought he was awesome, man. And like, you know, we had a call, and on the day of like, literally, I think it was like we spoke for like 20 minutes before we recorded or something like that, and then he called me back and we did the recording, and that was really that. Like it went so quickly, and it was like, I feel like I did a really good job, honestly. I wasn't that nervous. It was like, you kind of like wipe the idea from your mind that this is going to be seen by 25 million people, which it was. And it was great. Like me and Shane spoke quite a lot. He actually gave me advice on a lot of things, like a lot of personal things. And I had a really positive experience with him, but then so much came out after of things that like I wasn't really privy to. But it wasn't just that, it was like new developing things of where I didn't like where Shane was going, of like the whole Jeffree Star association. I really didn't like that, and the Bobby Barnes stuff really rubbed me the wrong way. And
that part was fascinating to me. The Bobby Barnes thing. Bro, that whole thing is so fascinating.
In hindsight, it almost felt like with Bobby and me, because we were the two commentary channels he picked up for a video, and in hindsight, people said that we were used, and like, I don't say we were used, but I think like he definitely wanted to be in good, because like, there's no reason for Shane to like get on and do these videos of commentary channels. In hindsight, I think it was a case of like, he knew that there was a lot of shit that could come out, and I think he wanted to have a lot of channels, you know, in his back pocket of like, I'm friends with you guys, you don't make videos on your friends, which for the most part is true, but like, it got to a point of where it was like, I remember the Shane controversy was amping up, and I was like, I've made so many videos positively about Shane, I can't just not. Like, it's not like we were best buddies. I think it would be different if we were like personally best friends or something like that. But like, you're just a guy who we've made a video of one time. I don't have an allegiance to you. So I was like, no, I'm going to cover you because I've covered you before. And like, there seems to be things, going on. And I think the first thing was where people were like questioning whether it was, rational to, diagnose or even speculate over Jake Paul being a sociopath. And, in hindsight, I think that's a very valid thing to criticize. We shouldn't just romanticize sociopath. Or I can't remember what the correct term for it is. Something to do with personality disorder. So I can't remember the exact thing is, but I think sociopathy is actually like kind of like an outdated term now. Something on those lines. But like either way, with the whole Katie Morton thing, there was a lot of ethical issues surrounding it, and like over time my opinion just changed and like I was still friendly with the guy, but then the James Charles stuff happened and it really started to become really catty and like felt like I remember him being like, he word for word was like, James Charles deserved his like comeuppance. And this is when we thought James was innocent. And in that situation, he was innocent. He was. So like, that was like, oh, all of these people are terrible. And it did just eventually lead to me making my negative videos about him. And it was really a shame, man. It was like, I owe him a lot. Like, I think he did a good thing for me, but like, just because someone does a good thing for you doesn't mean that you have allegiance to them, I don't even know how we got to this point, but yeah.
Well, did he ever like reach out after you made the like more negative videos? And I was like, yo, what up, dude?
No, so I lost the Shane Dawson follow, not because he unfollowed me, but because my Instagram account, I lost the account because I lost access to it because I broke my phone, which had the authenticator on it, and I could no longer get into the account. And I just was like, they said they couldn't give me back the account or something, but they could delete it. So they did. So yeah, something on those. Like, there was a reason they deleted the account or something like that. Maybe I got it back and it was just inactive and dead or something like that. But yeah, I lost the account and I made a new account and never got the follow back because I think at that point I was making negative videos about him. But I am curious that maybe if I still had that account, would he have reached out to me after making those negative videos? What's interesting, though, is me and Shane were going to collaborate in person on my channel. I don't think I've ever spoke about that before. I reached out to him in 2019 being like, hey, can we make a video together in person in LA? I'll fly out. We'll do it. And he was like, yeah, we can. And I was like, oh, great. We never did, but like in hindsight, probably the best thing that to happen there. But like, yeah, we never did do that. But no, I had very positive experiences, and it was more like from an outsider viewing everything building up and him changing and like things getting worse. It was like, I don't like this guy anymore. And it was like a shame because it was like almost watching someone you admire just progressively change before your eyes. And then there was loads of things like, as I said, with like the animal stuff. There was like videos of him fucking doing really weird things with his dog and, and then there were videos before that came out about Shane where he was like making edgy jokes on podcasts, which I was like, clearly that's taking out of context. But then there was more and more stuff that came out of when you're like, okay, the context argument necessarily doesn't work here. Like he was like recording his nieces. It was weird stuff, man. And it was like a build up. And it was like, oh my God. Like how much can you argue context in certain situations? And it wasn't like a bad tweet or something. It was like him doing things on camera consistently, making a career off that. Yeah. And it was like, after a point it gets to like, I can't really, maintain any form of acquaintance with this guy. But yeah.
Yeah. Dude, that's so interesting. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've ever actually...
Yeah, I've always been curious, but I was like, I never knew, like, I don't want to just randomly be like, so Fraser, tell me about the, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, it's never anything I've shied away from before, but it's just more like, I'd never make a video being like my friendship with Shane Dawson, but Dude, maybe I have, but I don't think I would.
I was going to say that would be an interesting video, but I feel like people would be interested in it, but I don't know, maybe
I think it would be an interesting video 4 years ago. I don't think anyone really cares now,
yeah,
but I think
you might be right about that.
I think if there was drama, it would make sense. But yeah, I don't really cover Shane anymore, mainly because it's just like I covered him so much. It was like I'm not really that interested in it anymore. I would like to make a video about some of the things they speak about on their podcast because like I think they actually like there's a lot of like problematic theories that they've spoken about. I think Pineley. My friend Pineley made a video talking about
he makes great videos. I like his videos a lot.
Yeah, Piney's a cool guy.
He has a cool
really
voice.
Videos. Yeah. No, it's weird because like he has an American voice, but he's not American. No, he's a good guy. I've been on holiday with him before. We climbed a mountain together.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
awesome.
man. Yeah, I've had nothing but positive experiences with Piney. It's weird calling him by his name. I don't know if his actual it's weird calling him by his YouTube name. I don't know if his first name's out there, so I'm not going to do that. But but with that, I don't know. Is there anything else to talk about?
Man. I think I'm ready to go. I'm gonna eat some dinner.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go to bed, to be honest with you, bro. Like, I'm impressed. We've reached basically 2 hours, and like we came in this with like no preparation, nothing.
Fraser,
but we've got
texted me. He was like, "Do you have anything you want to talk about?" I was like, "No, not really. We'll figure it out."
I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good sign that we can just get on here, shoot the shit, and we've got a title. We've got the Amberlynn Reid title. We've got like, I'm sure we can put some other stuff in there too, you know. And honestly, I'm debating on making like. I've been like, I don't know. I kind of want to like cut clips out and put them onto a channel for this. I just don't know if it's worth putting them on this channel because like it could just be like a 3-minute clip of like Beast to Beast's opinion on this, and it's like where there's not enough for like a proper video, but like maybe we just make a separate channel being like over the pond clips. I think that might actually work better than just putting them on this channel. You know?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never really experimented with the whole like clips channel, so I don't really know. Yeah.
We may as well. I feel there's nothing to lose. You know, I think it'd be not much effort. I would literally just go into it being like basic thumbnails, basic. Yeah, and then have the podcast channel which people can come to. Maybe I will if I can be bothered. Yes. But yeah, thank you so much everybody for listening. I believe I put the last episode on Spotify, and this one probably also will be on Spotify. But yeah, the best place to watch this is obviously on YouTube, where you can see our very pretty faces. And yeah, thanks for coming along. Please like this video. Please comment your thoughts below, and peace out.
Peace.